The member for Victoria Park.
Madam Speaker, I rise to speak in support of the legislation Bill 2021. The opportunity to increase people's access to their democracy is a noble one. Members of this parliament can understand the desire to make substantive change for the people they represent. When talking to people in my electorate, I've heard of people's difficulties with understanding governments and political processes. They desire change and up-to-date, reliable information, but know very little about what is available to them already. Although discussing legislation on legislation may seem a little dry, it is a great opportunity to change how we engage with the public for the benefit of the public, to make the legislation that we fight for work harder for the people of Western Australia beyond these walls. With improved accessibility to the written law, we allow all future legislation to gain greater scrutiny, giving access to a broader diversity of people and greater buy-in to the legislative framework that governs our state. This bill will improve accessibility to the law for all Western Australians. Better public accessibility to laws and confidence of use by regular members of the community is a great byproduct of this legislation. Digital versions of legislation are already being used in other regions worldwide and other departments such as planning in WA. This bill aims to create an efficient and accessible platform that provides the same rights as current access to hard copy versions of the law. This legislation is an opportunity to bring WA in line with the majority of other Australian jurisdictions regarding the legitimacy of electronic legislative documents. This bill will also create better accessibility for students. Students instinctively turn to online material for learning, particularly domains that act as a database for a one-stop shop of all their academic needs. This bill, digitising legislation, will assist with streamlining the process of research and ensure students' time is well spent in learning rather than attempting to navigate where to source information in a hard copy form. Kent Street Senior High School in my electorate offers politics and law at an 8R level, which aims to foster students' understanding of laws, to become informed, active and effective participants in the political decisions that affect their lives within society. Students like those at Kent Street may continue these studies at a tertiary level, such as studying law locally at Curtin University, also in my electorate. Meeting students' needs shows them that we're coming into the modern age and that our government are here to support the next generation of skills and knowledge. That we are capable of meeting our community where they're at a very simple way, in a very simple way to meet growing expectations for ease of access to information. Access at every level of learning and understanding is crucial, whether a member of the community is interested in finding out about one piece of legislation or whether their future career is dependent on their access to a wide range of legislation. The implementation of this legislation bill will result in an efficiency saving of $250,000 a year. The member for Moore knows what's coming. I don't need to tell the members of this place what a difference this money can make to a multitude of community organisations across our respective electorates.
Here.
At the moment, this $250,000 each year is spent on the printing and administration of hard copy legislation and reflects a significant opportunity cost. This amount of savings, $250,000, can be life-changing for many community groups, schools and non-profits. To put this into perspective of community groups and schools local to my electorate of Victoria Park, $250,000 is more than the funds needed to install 2 much-needed new basketball courts at East Victoria Park Primary School or Wilson Primary School, both election commitments of the McGowan government that will soon be delivered. I'm looking forward to helping East Victoria Park Primary School get rid of their current cheese grater basketball courts, which is what the kids have not so lovingly nicknamed their current basketball courts. I have the feeling they may not have been updated in the 30-odd years since I attended. The same situation exists at Wilson Primary School, where I know that school community is looking forward to being rid of the large cracks veining their current basketball courts. Additionally, $250,000 is more than enough, almost 4 times more than enough, to help buy a new boat for the WA Disabled Water Ski Club in my electorate of Victoria Park. This disability inclusive boat has been needed for some time, and I'm very happy to have made a commitment during the recent election to this great local inclusive sports group, and I look forward to seeing people living with disability enjoying water sports on our Swan River on a new boat very soon. Every year, the Victoria Park WA Disabled Water Ski Club works with the WA Disabled Sports Association, also based in Victoria Park, and other community groups to deliver around 900 water ski opportunities for people living with disability. $250,000 is more than enough to help the wonderful Connect Victoria Park deliver new energy efficiency measures as supported by the McGowan government.
Thank you. Point of order.
Has already been spent. Albert the Magic Pudding does not exist to provide for 53 members of Parliament to sit up and talk about spending $250,000 each. There's only $250,000 a share amongst 53 of you.
Thank you, Deputy Leader of the Opposition. Look, that's your point of view. Each of the members is entitled to say how they believe the money could be spent worthwhilely in their electorate. They're effectively making the same point. So I'm not going to rule some people in order and other people out of order. And it is an illustrative point that a money saving means that money can be spent on other things. So I've allowed it for the other speakers, and I will certainly be allowing it for the member for Victoria Park.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and they absolutely are, Minister. Connect Victoria Park provides access to affordable housing for people over 60 on low incomes and creates opportunities for older adults to connect, engage with community and age healthily, which I'm sure the member for Moore would support. In addition to residential units on Mackie and Cargill Streets in Victoria Park, Connect also runs a well-known community venue, the Homestead, also on Mackie Street. At the moment, older community members can attend regular fitness and exercise classes, a creative writing group, and meet others to go for a walk or bike ride. And I know that group is looking forward to the new cycle and pedestrian bridge we are building parallel to the causeway for Victoria Park to Perth, from Victoria Park to Perth. There are a lot more activities and festivities available at the Homestead, and it's been a joy to be able to join residents and locals at these events. For the last 3 years, Connect Vic Park has also been implementing Western Australia's first village hub, building a community of people over 55 who help each other, share knowledge and skills, and work together to enjoy full and purposeful lives, which was particularly relevant over the last year of COVID-19. In delivering our election commitment to Connect Victoria Park, the McGowan government will be delivering $60,000 to Connect for energy efficiency measures, including solar panels, batteries and LED lighting. The Connect team estimate that this $60,000 investment will save them around $200,000 over the next 20 years, easing pressure on rents to their residents and allowing for investment in other key areas. This investment also helps minimise Connect's environmental footprint. So the efficiency saving of $250,000 a year saved by the legislation bill is enough to pay for new basketball courts at East Victoria Park Primary School and energy efficiency measures at Victoria Park Connect, or new basketball courts at Wilson Primary School and a new disability accessible boat for the WA Disabled Water Ski Club. These are some of the election commitments the McGowan government and I made during the recent election, and indicates that cutting costs like this can assist in providing much needed services to our community. More savings like this means more opportunity for investment in other areas that desperately need assistance. It is always important to keep in mind why we make savings. It's not just to bank them, it can be to ensure monies are invested where they'll make the best impact. This legislation bill will also improve sustainability, as other members have already discussed today. It will allow the government to transition to an online-only gazette, which means less paper. Similarly to the way the McGowan government is diversifying our energy sources and investing in renewables, we need to move away from paper as a form of communication and move to more sustainable measures that will provide an ongoing and efficient solution to information dissemination. We have invested $35 million towards processing materials such as paper in recycling plants. Reducing the need or demand for paper products in this form will reduce the demand on these recycling facilities and allow for other materials to be recycled and repurposed. Moving to online platforms means more trees are kept standing, which acts as a natural carbon sink and assists with our goals of a just transition to a net zero public sector in Western Australia. Along with all of these benefits from a relatively simple legislative change, the new legislation bill will also allow for editorial improvements. Legislation, new and amended, will also be delivered sooner, keeping in line with community and judiciary expectations of accessibility to the most up-to-date legislation. Importantly, these new editorial allowances do not allow the Parliamentary Counsel's Office to change the substance of the law. That is what Parliament does, which keeps the integrity of the legislative process intact. The new editorial powers include the ability to update language indicative of gender. This will allow the Parliamentary Counsel's Office to change expressions in existing legislation that have previously indicated gender in the text and replace it with neutral terms. This includes changing his and her to terms like a person and their. This will improve inclusivity of all people in our community, no matter how they identify themselves on a gender basis. Increasing accessibility to the written law is increasing accessibility to democracy itself, giving rise to a more robust democracy, allowing people with vision impairments to easily enlarge text, children to quickly be able to search the definition of words, and new migrants the ability to quickly copy and paste legislation into a translator. Diversifying the voices that legislation can actively speak for, because we've diversified the voices that can read it. So, in speaking to this legislation bill, I am reminded that in this place, even though you may think you're speaking on something dry and somewhat ironic, such as speaking on legislation about legislation, that everything we do here is important. Everything we can do can have much wider positive implications or otherwise than we may initially realise. I look forward to the passage and implementation of this bill. Thank you.